She is a professor of forensic psychology. She's also author of the book, How to Catch a Killer, and she joins me now for this exclusive interview. Dr. Ramsland, thank you so much for being on. I do not understand how it works, how they can ruthlessly torture and murder someone and then come home for dinner with the family.
Well, it usually starts with the fantasy life where they're imagining doing something to someone because it's erotic for them or it feels powerful to them. And they're aware that it's not acceptable, that if anyone knew what they were thinking and wanting to do and then acting on, they would lose family, they'd lose jobs, they'd lose status, they'd lose everything. So they learn how to use life frames in order to present themselves as normal people that they can pass, that they can be spiritual leaders, for example, as Dennis Rader was, Boy Scout volunteers, in the military, ordinary citizens, good neighbors. They know how to make people believe those facades so that they can keep the secret life secret and continue to do it.
Well, then, Dr. Ramsland, you make me very afraid for those who are still out there, and I feel like a lamb to the slaughter. Is there anything that you can impart on me and everyone watching in terms of maybe itty-bitty little red flags that we can watch for, something that stands out? Please don't tell me that they're so perfect at this double life that we literally have no defenses.
It's not that they're perfect at it, but people don't expect other people, neighbors, fathers, brothers, etc., to be these killers. Even if they see signals, they tend to look the other way or minimize them because nobody wants to believe they're married to a serial killer or that they're the parents of a serial killer. So we tend to minimize those things. But someone like Heuermann was obsessed with some of these crimes. When he would talk with people about it, he wanted to go over it and over it and over it. That would be one of the red flags that I would say. But it's very difficult to have a list of red flags because you're going to have exceptions. You're going to have people who did not pay attention at all to the news. I don't think that there's a distinct red flag that really stands out.
Well, there was something I read that made me just shudder, and that was the statistic that it's estimated about 1 million adult males are psychopaths and about 600,000 females are psychopaths, but that only a small minority become serial killers. A small minority of 1 million is still a lot of people out there. Maybe the rest of us won't be able to see red flags, but what about the wives and the families who are undoubtedly out there right now, maybe even, having a late night snack before bed with dad? Is there anything that they, since they're so much closer to the perpetrator, that they can watch for?
Well, first, most psychopaths aren't even criminals, let alone murderers or serial killers. So it's a mistake to believe that a psychopath is equivalent to a violent person. They're not necessarily, but callousness, deception, manipulations, disregard of people's feelings, lots of broken promises. These are the kinds of things that are hallmarks of psychopaths. If somebody is cruel to their pets or setting up their loved ones to be humiliated, harmed, these are the kinds of things that some relatives of serial killers have noticed in retrospect about the person who was identified as a serial killer.
Well, we'll be watching if there are any of those details that come out about Rex Heuermann. Katherine Ramsland, thank you. As always, it's such a treat to talk to you. You're one of the best in the business. I just hope you'll come back more often.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.